In this presentation, we are going to discuss the seller permanent buy down. And the reason I like the permanent buy downs because the buyer qualifies at that interest rate and not at a start rate, unlike those temporary buy down programs. So let's go over this example. First example, we're taking a $400,000 purchase, straight FHA. This is just your typical straightforwardness. However, and we're keeping this at, let's say, a 6.25 market rate today. So at this, we're looking at a total estimated payment of
about $3,153.24.
Okay, but that's slightly above the budget for our, potential buyer, for example. And once again, I just want to stress this is strictly illustrative purposes, only just to show you how the strategy can come together. So let's look at the second column. So now we're looking at a $400,000 purchase price, but we're trying to find ways to qualify this borrower. So, and this is part of the affordability options that we talk about. So in this case, let's say the seller builder is willing to do a permanent buy down, but however, according to this strategy, this does not hurt the builder's or the seller's net sheet. So what we simply do, as long as the property can hold a value for this, we take the cost to do the permanent buy down, add it to the sales price. So in this case, it brings the sales price from 400,000 to
411,371.
Okay, and that reduces the interest rate to approximately 5.25. So let's see what the difference is there.
So we're looking at a payment of about $2,969.81. And since that rate has gone down, we're looking at a savings of $183.43 compared to the original list price option.
So this gives our potential buyer the option to afford that house now without increasing, per se, anything out of pocket. So, but let me put this in perspective and so you can get an idea of why this is so powerful. Let's look at the third column here. Now, we just simply take what we did is we put together to make it seem, so you can get an idea of what this potential borrower would naturally or normally qualify for at the lower monthly payment. So if we look at when we play with and come up with at 371,000 at the original interest rate of 6.25, that puts them at a payment of
about $2,966.31. That was like a difference between $3 between that and the buy down version.
So only a difference of $3. So in essence, what we've done is you've opened up that property to a whole a much larger pool of potential buyers that can buy this property. So, but them purchasing that property at $411,000 with the seller doing the permanent buy down is equivalent to them purchasing a $371,000 property with no buy down. So in essence, what you've just done, you've given that buyer the ability to afford $40,000 more in a home purchase. And like I said, you just opened up your homes to a much larger pool of borrowers in terms of affordability. So should you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out.